We're at a little bit of a slow time right now in Destiny, so I've started to prepare for Lightfall just a little bit early. Today I'd like to talk about the 5 major things that I am doing to prepare for this big expansion. Number 1 on the list, and arguably the most important, is bounty prepping. This is the fastest and easiest way to guarantee that you have a bunch of bonus XP for day 1 so that you can unlock those important artifact mods and get bonus power level for day 1 raids. You can hold up to 63 quests and bounties at once, so what I usually recommend doing is grabbing the ones that you're normally going to complete throughout playing. I grab a lot of the Crucible ones. I tend to do some Vanguard strikes here and there because I'm farming for new weapons. I definitely do the seasonal content, and of course the gunsmith bounties. Now you can see I'm already at 56 out of 63. There's quite a lot of bit of extra quests and stuff in here that I probably don't need. I'm sure I could clear out some of these, and I will once I fill this up. But you can always go back to pick up these abandoned quests if you accidentally deleted an important one at the quest archive terminal here in the tower. So don't worry about accidentally deleting something important. If it happens, you can always get it back. Usually one of the most important things for day 1 raids is this last column of artifact mods, but they require a ton of XP. So I try to minimize the amount of time that it takes for me to get to this last column by having those prepared ahead of time. Now you'll very much find me and all 3 of my characters with a full tab of bounties for day 1. You can see here on the season pass, a lot of times there are fireteam XP boosts that state it increases fireteam members' XP gains by 2%. So what I'll essentially do is day 1, I'll pair up with a couple of friends that have gotten these fireteam XP boosts, and we'll all pop our bounties throughout the day to make sure that we maximize the amount of XP gains. On to the second biggest tip is making sure that you have crafted the important weapons that you plan to use for that initial legendary campaign and day 1 raid. One of the most popular right now is the Aikilos SMG, and I personally plan to have 2 of them ready to go for day 1, assuming that enemies will be hard to kill. I don't think Volt Shot will be all that useful for the day 1 raid, so I'm going to make another one that has Frenzy. Hopefully one day Bungie lets us put dual perks on our weapons, because that would save a lot of hassle for having to sit there and craft up these weapons every time. We know that linear fusions are going to be nerfed, and it sounded like that was coming with Lightfall. So I personally will highly recommend crafting a Bump in the Night, a Palmyra, and a retrofit escapade to make sure that you are ready to go for any potential DPS encounters that we may come across. I would also recommend, as mentioned, the Aikilos SMG, the Callus mini tool, and maybe even a sidearm here and there. The third major suggestion is to farm out all of the weapons that you may want to have ready to go for those first few weeks. A big one that I've just learned about the strength tonight is the Malicious Birthright. This thing can roll with quick draw and auto loading along with blinding nades. So I personally plan to farm one of these in GMs to make sure that I have one ready to go for that first week of legendary content and the day 1 raid. It would be really nice to get one with spike grenades and blinding grenades to have the option to switch between the two, but who knows if my RNG will permit it. But that goes for any of the weapons that you may see yourself using. I personally am farming for one of these as well. I think it could pair really well with some of the energy weapons that I might want to run during those first couple of weeks. Now really is the time to do it when we have so much downtime. I know you might want to play Crucible, or in my case, I'm finding every excuse not to, but it's not the most effective use of your time if your goal is to prepare for Lightfall. Now the fourth tip that I have for you is to finish off any previous seasonal content that you may not have completed. What typically happens is when a new expansion comes out, the previous year's worth of seasonal content is no longer available in the game. Sometimes those weapons get added into other sources like dares. You can farm for Fractithist, for example. But a lot of times those weapons are just no longer available. For example, I found out tonight that I am only at 2 out of 5 hollow denials, which I really don't care that much about, but knowing that I don't have it is probably going to bother me. So I'll be coming here each week to purchase a red border so that I could craft it and get that thing done. As you can see here, it is the only one that I don't have crafted, and although I have never used it, it will bother me like crazy. This includes any of the previous seasonal quests for those of you that may care about the lore and the storyline. The last tip here is really simple. Just clean your vault. Like, I know you know that you need to do it, and I know that you know that you've been putting off doing it. I've also been putting off doing it. Just do it, man. You just do it, please. You'll feel better. I'll feel better. We will all feel better. I stream every day but Tuesdays and Thursdays at twitch.tv/strasner. If you have any questions about things that you can do to better prepare yourself for the new expansion, please stop by and let us know. We are always hanging out.